Hello and welcome guys. So this is a second video of the playlist. In the last video we have already seen the overview of the project. So in this video we are going to discuss about Melispectogram, and also we will explore Librosa Python library, which is very useful if you are going to perform any task related to audio. Librosa is very powerful library if we are going to perform feature extraction, or if we are dealing with audio data, then we can use Librosa library to extract the features and insight from the audio signals. Okay, so first we will discuss about Melispectogram and then we will explore Librosa Python library. Okay, so I have already prepared some slide for you regarding Melispectogram. So first let me show you exactly what is Melispectogram and how we can use Melispectogram and why we are using Melispectogram. This entire thing we will discuss in detail. So Melispectogram. So first we will discuss about what is Melispectogram and the introduction of Melispectogram. Then we will see the steps to make Melispectogram, and at last we will explore Librosa API documentation. Okay, I don't want to make this slide longer. I want to be focused only on what exactly needed to build this project. Okay, at last, at the end of this playlist, we are going to make a audio classification system which is able to classify different music genres. So that's why whatever needed, we are focusing only on that part. Okay, so Melispectogram is very powerful and very important concept. This technique is very useful when we are going to perform any audio analysis, and if we are interested in extracting the important feature and insight from the audio signal, then this Melispectogram is very important algorithm. You can say that it is a algorithm which is designed to extract the important feature from the audio signal. Okay, so first let's see what is exactly Melispectogram. Okay, what is Melispectogram? So Melispectogram is a visual representation of audio signal that shows how the energy or power of the signal is distributed across different frequency over time. But the twist is here that frequency scale is transformed to match how human perceive sound. Okay, so it's nothing but the simple visual representation of audio signal. Okay, but here that visual representation shows that how power of signal is distributed across different frequency over time. By using this Melispectogram, we are trying to transform that frequency scale so that we can match with how human perceive sound, how human can understand sound. So we are basically trying to mimic the humans, how human understand sound. So we are trying to build that type of mechanism here. So that's why we are using this technique called Melispectogram. In simple word, it's nothing but a visual representation. That's it. We will discuss in detail when we move forward. Okay, don't worry. So up to now we understood that it is nothing but a visual representation of audio signal which is distributed across different frequency over time. This thing we'll understand in detail. Melispectogram is a visual representation, which means that it is type of graph. So definitely it has x-axis, y-axis. So x-axis is our time and y-axis is our frequency. But here the twist is that frequency we scale to match human hearing, okay, which is called Meliscale. So we are using some technique called Meliscale to change this frequency, to change this y-axis value so that we can match with human hearing. Okay, so here we are going to transform and change these things. So at y-axis we will change and develop something which we will discuss later. Okay, and this intensity represents the strength or amplitude of signal at each time and frequency point. So if this color value is greater, then it shows that strength of that signal is more, and if it is light, if intensity is less, then it means that there the strength is low. So that's the meaning of this intensity. So basically what we are going to do here. So if we develop Melispectogram for the audio signal, then what we will do, then this audio signal is nothing but a visual representation, so it's type of image. So we will feed this to our convolutional neural network. So if you see here, we develop convolution layer, max pooling and all. It will extract the important feature from it, and then we will train our model and develop some classifier. Okay, by saying that, okay, so this is a MEL spectrogram for rock music, this is a MEL spectrogram for classical music, something like that. So we will develop some model which will train on this MEL spectrogram. Okay, so step one is to take audio file and extract the important feature, which is nothing but MEL spectrogram. So we will extract and create MEL spectrogram for that audio file, and later we will feed those MEL spectrogram to our convolutional neural network, by using which we will make a music genre classifier. Okay, so that's the entire thing which we are going to perform in this complete project. Now the question is how to make this MEL spectrogram. Okay, once we got our MEL spectrogram, we will feed to CNN, convolutional neural network, and we will train our model. Okay, so that's what we have done in our plant disease project also. There we have image, created a convolutional neural network model, and we train with those image and build a classifier out of it. Okay, so here the challenge is that first we have to extract the important feature and build a MEL spectrogram. Then our task is easy. Okay, up to now we understood that MEL spectrogram is nothing but a visual representation of audio signal. Okay, and here we are, something we are doing here, like here on x-axis we have time, and for y-axis we have frequency, but we are applying some transformation on that frequency on y-axis to build a MEL scale. Why we are building this? Because we want to match with human hearing. Okay, so that's why we are doing something here. That's what we understood up to here. Okay, now let's move forward. So now we will discuss what are the steps to build MEL spectrogram. So step one is we took sample of air pressure over time to digitally represent an audio signal. We directly take our audio file and we will plot with respect to time what is the amplitude of signal. Okay, so we will plot with respect to time. Okay, so this is step one. We'll take our audio file and we will plot its amplitude with respect to time. First step is completed, and after that what we will do, we will map the audio signal from time domain to frequency domain using Fourier transform, and we perform this on overlapping windows segment of audio signal. This is very important thing. So here what we are doing, once we got our audio signal with respect to time, so we will map those audio signal from time domain to frequency domain using fast Fourier transform. Fast Fourier transform is a algorithm to efficiently apply Fourier transform on audio signal, and this thing we are performing on overlapping windows segment of the audio signal. So we are taking some clip of audio signal and we are applying Fourier transform on that, and we are converting those audio signal from time domain to frequency domain. That is what we are doing in step 2. Okay, and then what we are doing, we are converting that y-axis to log scale and the color dimension to decibel to form spectrogram. Okay, and at last we map the y-axis onto MEL scale to form the MEL spectrogram. So this is the 4 steps involved in building MEL spectrogram. Step 1 is we are taking audio signal and we are plotting its graph. It will be like on x-axis there will be time, and on y-axis there will be amplitude of that audio signal. What is the strength of audio signal, okay, with respect to time. So from that, in step 2 we are converting that audio signal from time domain to frequency domain using fast Fourier transform, and this process we are performing on overlapping window. We are clipping those audio file into some smaller chunks, and we are taking that at a time, and we are converting those audio signal from time domain to frequency domain, and then we are converting that y-axis to log scale to build, and color dimension to decibels to form a spectrogram. So up to step 3 it's spectrogram, and when we are transforming that y-axis onto MEL scale, then that entire thing is called MEL spectrogram. This step 4, I think you got from here, that whatever frequency we got, we are trying to transform into some MEL scale. We are using some MEL scale to transform the that y-axis so that we can match with human hearing. So that is what we are doing in step 4. So we understood that what we are doing in step 4. Now this step 2 is very important here. So we are going to discuss in detail about this step 2. What exactly we are going to perform here? What is the need of converting those audio signal from time domain to frequency domain? So Fourier transform, first you have to understand that Fourier transform is used to convert your audio signal from time domain to frequency domain. Okay, first you have to understand this. If you see this image, we are applying Fourier transform and we are transforming this signal which is in time domain, and we are transforming it in frequency domain. Okay, so what is the need of converting that signal from time domain to frequency domain? This is the first question. So to give you the answer of this, I have written some points here. And what is time domain and what is frequency domain? Here this graph is showing the frequency of this audio signal with respect to time. This is the frequency domain. Okay, here we are seeing the import, like here you see a lot of noise is there in this audio signal, but here some specific thing are here and rest of things are uniform. Okay, so first to understand why Fourier transform, what is the need to convert that audio signal from time domain to frequency domain? It is important to reveal the hidden pattern exist in the audio signal, because at the end we are going to perform a feature extraction and extract the important feature from that audio. Okay, so to extract the important feature, we have to convert that audio signal from time domain to frequency domain. Only then we can extract the important feature from it, but because everything depends on frequency, so to pick that frequency which is important in our audio signal, it is important to convert that audio signal from time domain to frequency domain. And second thing is that human perception alignment. As I have already told you that we are going to mimic how human understand the audio. Okay, human hearing is more sensitive to changes in frequency rather than changes in amplitude over time. This time domain is basically the graph of amplitude with respect to time, and this frequency domain is a graph of frequency with respect to time. So when we are going to convert this audio signal from time domain to frequency domain, we are going to say that, okay, so this is a graph of audio signal which is saying that this is a variation of frequency with respect to time. Here frequency is good and then frequency is uniform. Okay, and here we are saying about the amplitude of that signal. So this is a variation of amplitude with respect to time. Okay, so human hearing is more sensitive towards frequency rather than the amplitude. Okay, so this thing human can understand better as compared to this thing. Okay, so to align this according to human, to mimic human perception, we are converting that signal from time domain to frequency domain. This is point number 2. And point number 3 is feature extraction. Many important audio features are based on frequency content of the signal. Okay, here it's very difficult to extract the important feature from the audio. Okay, but here we can easily extract the important feature by seeing the frequency with respect to time. We can say that, okay, so this is a place where frequency is good. Okay, so we can easily extract the important feature from that audio signal in frequency domain as compared to time domain. Okay, and this fourth thing is very important, noise reduction and filtering. We have bunch of filters available which we can apply on audio signal, and we can remove noise, we can filter out certain frequency band. If you see, I have written here, easier to apply filters to isolate certain frequency band, remove noise or enhance specific amount of the signal. Suppose something is low and we are interested in focusing on that part, so we can enhance that specific component of the signal. Or if noise is present, then we can apply noise filter and remove that noise which is coming in the audio. So this entire thing, noise reduction and filtering, different types of filtering, we can easily perform in frequency domain. Okay, based on frequency, we can perform this filter, and it is very difficult in time domain. So that's why it's important for us to move this audio signal from time domain to frequency domain. And this last thing is compression and encoding. So we have audio compression algorithms. A lot of audio compression algorithms are available. By using that audio compression algorithm, we will discard the irrelevant feature present in that audio signal, and we will extract only the important feature from that audio signal. Okay, so to perform all these things, all algorithm, this audio compression algorithms also work in frequency domain. Okay, so that's why it is very important to move from time domain to frequency domain. Okay, if you go back, so that is why we are transforming our audio signal from time domain to frequency domain using fast Fourier transform. So Fourier transform is a method to convert our audio signal from time domain to frequency domain. But what is fast Fourier transform? Fast Fourier transform basically applies this Fourier transform in an efficient way. It is an algorithm to apply this Fourier transform in some efficient way on audio signal. That is this fast Fourier transform. And we perform this on overlapping window segment of the audio signal. This thing you will get more clarity when we move forward, because later we are going to implement this entire thing. We will first load this audio signal by using Librosa library, and then we will apply, and then I will show you the visualization of that thing, and then we will apply this Fourier transform and build MEL spectrogram. And we will do for two things. First we will build MEL spectrogram for entire audio signal, and then we will also do this entire thing on overlapping window. Like we will clip that audio signal, and we will take some part of that audio signal, and we will plot the MEL spectrogram, and then I will show you the difference, that how that this impact on audio feature extraction, and which why it is very important in audio feature extraction, and why we are always taking the overlapping window segment of the audio signal. Okay, so this thing we will explore there. Okay, so after that, what we are doing, so we understood here that why we are moving from time domain to frequency domain. This thing we have understand in detail. And this step 3 is saying that we convert the y-axis to log scale and the color dimension to decibel to form spectrogram. We are building some spectrogram which is important, which is feature extraction, which we have done in the form of graph, and later we are going to feed those graph to CNN. So that's why we are building some spectrogram, and this thing is important here. We are mapping that y-axis what we got from this spectrogram, that y-axis we are mapping with some MEL scale to form MEL spectrogram. So whatever spectrogram we have developed in step 3, we are transforming that spectrogram's y-axis with MEL scale to build MEL spectrogram. So that is this 4th step we are going to perform, okay, to build MEL spectrogram. And then we will discuss about what is MEL scale. Okay, so MEL scale is very important thing, as I have already showed you that after step 3 we are transforming this y-axis, whatever we got from here, we are transforming it into MEL scale. Why we are doing this? Because we are trying to mimic how human hear audio signal. So that's why, to mimic human hearing, we are transforming this y-axis onto MEL scale. Okay, so what is MEL scale? Humans hear frequency in a non-linear way. We are more sensitive to lower frequency and less sensitive to higher frequency. The MEL scale adjusts the frequency axis of the spectrogram so that it match human hearing. Lower frequency are spaced out more and higher frequency are spaced closer together. Okay, so what it's saying? It's saying that for lower frequency we are more sensitive, and for higher frequency we are less sensitive. Let me give you one example. Like if there is some frequency of 500 hertz and second frequency is of 1000 hertz. So the difference between 500 and 1000 hertz is 500. So we can easily understand the difference of 500 hertz and 1000 hertz. Okay, we can easily understand that this frequency is low and this frequency 1000 hertz is very high frequency. Okay, we can easily understand the difference between that. But if frequency is 10,000 hertz and second frequency is 10,500 hertz, then human can't understand the difference between that. And if you see the difference between 10,500 hertz and 10,000 hertz, then there also difference is 500 hertz. But it's very hard for humans to understand the difference of higher frequency. In both cases, difference is same. But the problem is that in smaller frequency, we are more sensitive and we can easily understand that, okay, this is high frequency sound and this is low frequency sound. But in higher frequency, if you go 10,000 and 10,500, if you compare both sound, then there it's very hard for humans to understand those things. Okay, so to add that functionality of human in the spectrogram, researcher came with some MEL scale which adjusts the frequency axis of the MEL spectrogram so that it matches the human hearing. So by using this, this MEL spectrogram also behaves same as humans. Okay, so it will also it will also adjust himself to be more sensitive for lower frequency signal and less sensitive for higher frequency signal. Okay, so that's why they come up with this MEL scale. So they are doing some mathematical operation to transform that y-axis into MEL scale. Okay, so this is all about MEL scale. So that is what I have discussed in this here in step 2. If you see, we perform this on overlapping window segment of the audio signal. So here if you see, we are taking some audio window length here. So we are focusing on this, and then we are extracting the audio signal from it, and then we are applying. So and this is a second window signal, and this is the overlap length. If you see, there is some overlapping here, and we are applying fast Fourier transform, and we are able to convert this audio signal from time domain to frequency domain. So this is a frequency domain signal. Okay, if you see here. Okay, so this is what we are going to perform here, and after that, once we convert that in audio signal from time domain to frequency domain, then we are applying some we are converting that y-axis to log scale and color dimension to decibels to form spectrogram. And after that, we are also we are going to transform that y-axis into MEL scale to mimic human hearing. Okay, so this entire thing, if we do, once we get this, then after that we will transform the y-axis to log scale, and we will also transform the color to decibels. Okay, then if we apply all this processing, then at the end we will get this result, which is our spectrogram. Okay, and once we transform this, this is a spectrogram, and once we transform this y-axis by MEL scale, then we will get MEL spectrogram. Okay, so that is what we want. And once we get this, we will feed this to neural network, to convolutional neural network, and we will get our result. Okay, okay, so that is what we are going to perform here. So if I give use the summary of this, what we have done. So MEL spectrogram, we have understand that it is nothing but a graph which we are going to use later to train our convolutional neural network model. Okay, and this y-axis is very important. We are trying to scale this to match human hearing. So we are going to perform some transformation here. Okay, so that's why this y-axis is important, and this color represent the strength or amplitude of the signal at each time and frequency. Okay, so that is the use of color. And then this is the 4 major step involves to build MEL spectrogram. First, we will take audio signal and we will plot over time, and then we'll see that that audio signal is with respect to amplitude over time. So we will convert those amplitude from time domain to frequency domain by using Fourier transform, and then we will convert that whatever we got from here, we will convert the y-axis to log scale and color dimension to decibel to form spectrogram. And once we got our spectrogram, we will map the y-axis onto MEL scale to form MEL spectrogram. We are doing this because we are interested in converting that spectrogram and giving it the functionality of same as human hear sound, okay, and human understand sound, okay. And this is about Fourier transform. Why Fourier transform? Because we are interested in converting that audio signal from time domain to frequency domain. Why is it important? Because to capture hidden pattern and also to align algorithm according to human perception, how human understand sound. So to align our technique according to human, we are doing this, and we can easily extract feature by from the frequency domain as compared to time domain, and lots of filtering and noise reduction algorithm we can apply on frequency domain. It's very easy to apply, and compression and encoding based on their frequency, we can easily discard the irrelevant feature and extract the important feature. That's why it is very important, okay. And then at last, the MEL scale. We have seen that humans are very sensitive towards lower frequency and less sensitive towards higher frequency. So to give our MEL spectrogram the same functionality, we are mapping and converting that y-axis according to MEL scale by applying some mathematical operation, okay, so that our MEL spectrogram also behave like human, okay. So that's why this is all about whatever we got here. The spectrogram will transform this y-axis and we will make this as a MEL spectrogram. So that is all about MEL spectrogram, and now we will explore Librosa library, how we can use this, how we can perform this and build MEL spectrogram. So if you go to the documentation of Librosa on this librosa.org, and if you go in doc, then you will see the documentation of this Librosa. And here Librosa is a Python package for music and audio analysis. It provides the building blocks necessary to create music information retrieval system, okay. So to extract the important feature from the music or audio something, we generally use Librosa, okay. So what is this? So if you go in this API documentation core IO here, you can see here lots of things. If you go in audio loading, this is our audio loading. So if you click on this load, so from here you can explore this Librosa. So by writing this command librosa.load and by giving the path of your audio signal, and this is a sampling rate which is by default 22,050. So this entire thing you can give by default, and by giving the path of this you can easily load your audio files, okay. And what it will return two things. First one is y and second one is sampling rate. Y is audio time series, which is nothing but NumPy array, okay. And second thing, you will get sampling rate here, like here they are using some file, and by using this librosa.load file name, here they are getting y and sampling rate. Y is NumPy array, okay, which is the audio time series. It's nothing but that amplitude with respect to time. That is what it is, okay. Whatever we have discussed, that first when we load some file, then it will come in amplitude over time. Then later we have to convert those files into time domain to frequency domain. That is another case. So that is what we can do. So by using this command, we can easily load our file and we get this y, which is our amplitude with respect to time, okay. So this is all about librosa.load. You can explore more things here, librosa.stream and resample, how we can do resampling, get duration, and what is sampling rate. So this thing you can take from here, and this is time domain processing, signal generation. This entire thing you can see from here. It's a very well arranged documentation, so you can explore from here, okay, about this core IO if you go inside this. And for display part, if you go, if you see this wave show, then here if whatever you got y from there, by doing librosa.load, you can pass that y and sampling rate, and you can easily display the graph of that thing, okay. Whatever NumPy array and sampling rate you got from there by doing librosa.load, you can easily plot the graph of that by using this command, okay. It's very useful when we are going to deal with audio signal. Okay. And then what's next? Spec show, you can also explore this entire thing. Okay. And this feature is extraction is very important, because here we are interested in extracting the important feature from that audio signal. So we have different types of feature extraction algorithm present in Librosa, like we have discussed about melispectrogram. Okay, that thing is also present here. If you see, this is melispectrogram. So if you use this thing, then you can easily extract and compute the Mel scaled spectrogram, okay, by using this thing. If I go inside this, then you have to use only this librosa.feature.melispectrogram, and you have to pass y. Okay, if I show you the example here they are loading this by using librosa.load, and y and sampling rate they are getting. This y is this is amplitude with respect to time, and when they are applying this librosa.feature.melispectrogram and they are giving y and sampling rate, they are getting this thing. And this librosa.feature.melispectrogram, it's internally converting those audio signal from time domain to frequency domain, and applying log scale on y-axis, and doing different things, and also applying Mel scale on that, and it's giving you value of this. Okay, so what you are getting here, that is basically after, if I show you here, that is basically after this 4th step, what you got, like this thing you are getting, and once you transform your y-axis, whatever result you will get, that is your Mel spectrogram. That is what you will get if you apply this thing here. Okay, this is a matrix, and this is also a matrix. If you see, this is also a matrix. Okay, image is also a matrix. So you will get some matrix, which is your Mel spectrogram. Okay, if you plot this by using some display function of this, by using this one, you got y, and if you use that data to plot this by using spec show or by using wave show, then you will get your result. Okay, if you use this, then you will get some matrix here, and once you plot this, you will get this type of result, which I am going to show you when we are going to start building this project. Okay, so that is how you can easily build Mel spectrogram by using Librosa. Okay, what is next here? If I go in feature extraction, you will see that Mel spectrogram is one possible way to extract the important feature from that audio signal, but we have some other ways also. By using this chroma STFT, compute a chromogram from waveform or power spectrum, and this chroma CQT is also there, constant Q chromogram. This is also some algorithm like Mel spectrogram, and chroma VQT is also there, variable Q chromogram. And MFCC is also very important technique to extract the important feature, which is Mel frequency cepstral coefficient. We can also use that thing. Okay, so here we are using Mel spectrogram to extract the important feature from the audio signal, but we can use MFCC, chroma VQT, and this entire thing also. Okay, anything we can use. TONADS, compute tonal centroid feature. Okay, so there is bunch of technique present to extract the important feature from that audio signal, but right now for this project we are interested in using this Mel spectrogram to extract the important feature from audio signal, and later we are going to feed those audio signal to convolutional neural network and build a classifier by using that. If you go inside this documentation, you will see in detail with some examples also how we can do and achieve and build Mel spectrogram using that audio signal. Okay, so I think we have discussed a lot in this video. Okay, so that's all for this video. We'll meet in next video, and from next video onwards we will start building our model. Okay, so that's all for this video. Thank you guys. Thanks a lot for watching this video.